Lucy's Kitchen, it's Lucy's Kitchen. She's Lucy and she's got a kitchen. Lucy's Kitchen.
And now that we've got your attention, let's cook. Hi there. Welcome to Lucy's Kitchen. I'm Lucy, and this is my kitchen. Today we're going to make asparagus quiche with bacon. Asparagus quiche is just a riff on the classic French dish quiche Lorraine. Quiche Lorraine has cream and eggs, bacon and Swiss cheese, and it is divine. But we're going to add asparagus to ours, and then I'm also going to add a secret ingredient, which I'll reveal to you in a little while. This dish is versatile. It can be a vegetarian dish, just leave out the bacon. It can be a side dish. It can be a main course. It's very, very lovely to serve this for lunch. And if you have people coming over for lunch and you think, oh, not sandwiches again, this is the perfect choice. So I love making quiche because quiche is one of those dishes that when you really are running out of time, you can kind of throw this together, and it's very forgiving. You can use other vegetables other than asparagus. You can saute some mushrooms. You can use zucchini. But I like asparagus because not only is it delicious and nutritious, but it's gorgeous. So we're going to do that today. We're going to start by talking about some of our ingredients. First, I'm going to talk to you about the asparagus. Now, this is extremely important because it's asparagus quiche. What I did was I took my bunch of asparagus, about a pound, and I steamed it for a couple of minutes. And then I plunged it into ice water till it cooled completely. The reason I did that was to make it stop cooking instantly, and also to preserve that gorgeous green color, because we want to have as much of that in the quiche as possible. Then I cut off the tops. The asparagus tops are very, very attractive, and they're also going to decorate the top of our quiche, so they're perfect. And so I cut them off, put them aside, and then I took the stems and I cut them into 1/2 inch to 1 inch pieces. They're all tender, but not too tender. They still have a little bit of tooth, and so they're going to cook some more in the quiche itself. We'll get to that when we start putting it together. Our other ingredients, of course, include bacon. Now, this is about 1/2 pound of very thick bacon. It was only 4 slices. It was really thick. So you cook it until it's crispy, however you like to do that, and then just chop it up into, 1/2 inch pieces. So this piece is perfect. We're going to add some cream and some sour cream to our quiche. This is going to make our custard along with our eggs. And we're going to use 4 eggs. This quiche has lots of heft, lots of protein. So you're going to really get a great dish out of this. And as a matter of fact, my husband and I are going to eat it 2 nights in a row because it's going to be perfect for dinner. And then we're also going to use a cup of freshly shredded Gruyere cheese. You can use the pre-shredded, but I recommend shredding your own because it melts more evenly. The ones that are pre-shredded are very convenient and totally fine to use, but I like to shred my own. And then we're going to top the whole thing with some parmesan. And of course, we've got some lovely spices to go along. First thing I'm going to do is to show you how to deal with the crust. So one of the reasons this is an easy, convenient dish for me is because I always keep pie crusts around. You can make your own, or you can just buy the store-bought and just have them available when you need them. They're actually quite good. This one is a store-bought crust. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out a little bit more because it's 9 inches and I want it to be a little bit bigger than my pie pan, which is what I'm going to use here. Now, this is a very well-buttered pie dish. Very well buttered because I don't want this to stick to it at all. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and just dust your surface with a little flour. And you want it to probably be around 12 inches around. So now I have this handy little mat that I use, but you really don't have to. You can just estimate. And what we're looking for is a big enough crust so that it overhangs the top of your pan, of your pie dish, or pie pan if you use a pan. And then I'm going to just take this onto my rolling pin and bring this over here and drape it over the top. And we want it to be even all around. Okay, and it's great. So now just very gently press it down, and we're going to put this into the dish. Now there's going to be bubbles. You want to let them out so that they can, so it can adhere to the sides of the dish. And there it is. It's perfectly ready to go. So I'm going to take the edge and I'm going to just kind of fold it to the bottom edge of the, well, it's really to the top edge of the pie dish. I'm just going to fold it over. And this is a handy trick for making it look really professional. So there we go. We want to do that all the way around. And again, we're looking for an even edge. And you don't have to do it too hard right now because we're going to pinch it in a second. All right, now you just take your two fingers and you squish and press, squish and press, squish and press. So do you see how that is forming? I'm going to have to do it this way. You go all the way around, squish and press. This is probably the longest part of dealing with this crust, but it's worth it because it looks so decorative and pretty, and it looks very quiche-like. Go all the way around, and you use your fingers as a guide. Okay, then do the same thing with your finger. Just smush it down right there where it goes in, and put your fingers on the inside so that one hand is kind of holding it up and the other hand is pressing it down. And I'll tell you that even with the best preparation, sometimes a pie crust will shrink on one side, and you might not be able to do anything about that. But hopefully these steps will help make it pretty consistent all the way around. Okay, there we go. So there's the pie crust. So I'm going to go ahead and move this away, and then we can make the filling. So we're going to make a custard. We're going to use 4 eggs, and put in this little dish. Okay, 1. There's an eggshell in there. So to scoop out an eggshell, use another eggshell and just go on down there and get it. And it will somehow or other be attracted by the other shell. And there it is. All right. So we're done with that part. First thing you do is you beat the eggs. You want to beat them really well. You want this very fluffy. You can beat this with a mixer, but this is probably good enough. And I think that's good as long as it's really well mixed. Next thing we're going to add is our sour cream. If you don't happen to have sour cream, You can use Greek yogurt. Won't be quite the same, but it'll still work just beautifully. I've had people use cottage cheese, ricotta cheese. One thing I really love about quiche is that you can make one with just about anything that's in the family of the original ingredients. So we've got this beautiful custard. You can see that it's quite thick, and it's almost like a lemon curd. All right, now we're going to add our cream to that. We're using a cup of cream. And by the way, I prefer using whole milk, yogurt, and full-fat sour cream. It tastes better, it cooks better, and it's probably better for you. There are a lot of people out there who want to use skim milk and so forth, and it'll work. It'll still make a custard. Probably still tastes pretty good, but this is the best way. Okay, I've got a teaspoon of dried flaked onion. I'm using dried onion instead of chopping up and sauteing an onion. I also have some dried thyme. Now this is really fresh dried thyme. I've dried it myself. So I think you can just squish it around a little bit with your fingers and let some of the thyme oils be released. And we're going to just throw that in there. And then of course a little salt and pepper. About ½ teaspoon of each one. We don't need more than that because of the bacon. The bacon's going to add its own level of salt. So we don't really want to over salt this. All right, there it is. It's a very pale lemon yellow, and you can see all the herbs floating around in there. So now we're going to actually put together our quiche. So I like to spice it up a little. So I'm going to add my own secret ingredient, which is about ¼ cup of chopped green chili. I like to use medium green chili because it has a little bit of a bite. It actually doesn't make the dish very hot. Now, if you don't have green chili or like green chili, you don't have to use it. This is just my special, personal ingredient, love affair. So you don't have to worry about it. However, if you want to, you can chop up some roasted red peppers. That would be delicious, and it would be very attractive too. You just want it there for a little accent, a little flavor. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in here, and then I'm going to spread it. So what we're going to look for here is kind of a layering effect. That way, all of our ingredients will be distributed nicely throughout the quiche. And so there we go, just a little bit of green chili. Now, as I said, it's optional. Don't be intimidated by it. You don't need it, or you do need it if you're me. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is the bacon. And I'm just going to sprinkle it over the bottom. In fact, I'm only going to sprinkle half of it over the bottom. Then I'm going to take all of the asparagus, and I'm going to put that in there as a layer. However, I'm saving the asparagus tips. So just kind of push that around, make sure it's nicely distributed. Take the rest of the bacon and make sure it gets nicely spread out. And you can move some pieces around if you need to. And then we're going to put in the cheese. So just take this gorgeous Gruyere or Swiss, or frankly, any white cheese that you have around. And by the way, I would use white cheese. You can use anything. You can use Monterey Jack. I like Gruyere. You can use white cheddar. I like Gruyere because of the flavor, but it also works with a lot of other things. All right, that's all for now. Now we're going to do this part. So I'm going to stir it up again. And Now this is important. Pour it gently. It helps if you pour it over a spoon or some sort of spatula so that it doesn't flood the ingredients. We want the ingredients to stay where they are as much as possible. And then scrape out some of this goodness, because usually the herbs tend to congregate at the bottom, even if you mix them really well. And just press that out. All right, and finally, we're going to decorate with our beautiful asparagus tips. I'm going to put one really nice one right in the middle, and then we're going to just do a fan around them. And I like to go kind of crisscross to get them even, because then I know I have enough. So and we start putting them in the middle there, there. Okay, I think I'm going to put another one there, and maybe another one there, maybe one more here. Okay, and then I have one left, so I'm going to put that on top. All right, perfect, beautiful. Look at that, isn't that lovely? So the quiche is ready to put in the oven, except for one last thing, which is the Parmesan cheese. We're going to sprinkle a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese on top. That will help give it a gorgeous golden color and also help caramelize the asparagus tips a little bit. Just do that all around. Okay. And before I put it in the oven, I usually use one of these really great gadgets. Okay, this is well, I don't really know what it is. I guess it's called a pie shield. And you just put it over your crust, and it keeps it from burning. And it's a really great idea so that the filling can cook and firm up without burning the crust. Makes sense, right? Well, the thing is that sometimes it takes a while for the custard to really set. You don't want it to be runny. It's okay if it's a little bit soft, but it can't be runny. And if you don't have one of these, just use a little bit of foil and make a little tent. So that's it. We're going to pop it in the oven for 45 minutes, and I'll see you back here when it's done. Oh, look at this beautiful quiche. I think you're going to really love serving this. It smells good. It looks good. It's brown. The custard is set. It's just perfect. Now you'll remember that I put the crust shield, the pie shield on it so that the crust wouldn't burn before the pie was done. And this is quiche, but you know, it's still a pie. And that's why you use it, and that's why you might use foil. And I took that off about 10 minutes before the whole thing was finished because I wanted the crust to brown, and it otherwise might not be quite brown enough. So it's perfect, it's beautiful, and we're going to give it a try. I can't wait. So I want to cut a lovely slice that has a little bit of everything. Now it's a good idea to let the quiche sit on a cooling rack for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before you serve it. That will allow the custard to set, and you should have no trouble cutting it and getting your piece out of the pan. So, yeah. Oh, that is nice. What could be bad about this anyway? It's cream, eggs, cheese, all my favorite food groups. All right, I'm going to take a little bit more of this. Beautiful. I think I'm going to serve it with some roasted tomatoes. I've roasted some baby cherry tomatoes with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper, and they're just very pretty on the plate. Move the quiche back a little. There we go. And, of course, my usual garnish. Ta-da! Okay, this is a great dish. I can't wait to try it, and I know you're going to love it. If only you were here instead of me, you'd be tasting this and thinking, I can't wait. That's hot. Oh. Fabulous. So it's creamy. It's spicy. Don't forget I put green chili in it. It is absolutely the most perfect flavor. The cheese combined with the cream and you don't taste the onions, but the hint of onion is there, and the asparagus is just done to perfection. And the bacon's great too. I gotta have a little more of this. The custard is light. It's absolutely delicate and yet very substantial. I am so excited about this dish. I think it's really turned out well. I hope you'll give it a try. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Lucy's Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and join us next week when we have more delicious recipes from my kitchen to yours.